So I guess to rephrase that question, what surprised you most about getting older and having maybe a different sense of perspective on things? Are you having any full circle moments lately, or just maybe a rebirth in your thought process with the new band?
I don't know that it really, with me kind of aging, I don't know that it really pertains to the band so much. That part of my life, the music's still the same. It's all still the same. We still love to get one another off, to just go in and make a raucous, and then to, for instance, like the art of letting go. It's all about, a healthy, happy situation. Be like, oh, you have that song?
Yeah.
Check this one out.
Yeah.
It's an endearing kind of thing. But, personally is where it's really changed a lot. I was talking to somebody last week, and I just think of the hours that I used to spend just sitting around listening to music.
Yeah.
Just laying around listening to music. I don't have time for that, man. I don't want to do that anymore because I want to be with my family.
Yeah.
I want to be with my kids, man. I want to be out in the mountains. I want to be hiking. I want to go to the beach. I want to just be with my kids, whether we go to the movies or whatever. That's where my real joy is, to be with my wife and my kids, man.
Well, it's also one of those things that, like, the older you get, one would hope that I guess in general with people that you never lose sense of that childlike wonder of discovery and curiosity. Well,
God, sadly, I'm a victim of arrested development. started getting high at a very young age, man.
Now, it seems, at least from my perspective of knowing about the band, that there's always been this long connection to the MC5. Obviously with the song, but I saw a picture of you with Wayne Kramer recently, and I was curious about what that band means to you in terms of their influence and also the attitude that they presented and what STP's always been doing.
Man, that band meant a lot to us, and on every level, Rob Tyner used to make all those clothes, man. He made all those clothes. And I mean, just everything about that band, from the attitude, from the ferocity, from the style, from everything about it, man, it just oozed, sex and love and violence and it was just everything, man. It had everything, and it just meant a lot to us.
You still watch those performance clips from the late '60s, and even compared to today, they're still the wildest band I've ever heard.
Oh man, there was.
You listen to Kick Out the Jams, and
imagine coming up. First of all, just coming up, in Detroit, talk about becoming, a product of your environment. I mean, look at the changes that city went through, man. It was the heart of America.
Yeah.
It was once the heart of America, and it went to, from that to being pretty bad off.
Well, I had the pleasure of interviewing Wayne last year. What a cool dude. And I had talked to him about the absurdity of the MC5 not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and being snubbed twice. Are you also seeing that absurdity about the STP not being nominated, or is what it is from your perspective?
It's never crossed my mind, honestly, but I've been spending a fair amount of time with Wayne lately. And so let me ask you, is AC/DC not in it as well?
As far as I know, they are. Yeah, they're in it.
They're in it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know McCartney just recently got inducted.
Well, Wayne was saying they never liked them. Wayne was saying Rolling Stone never liked the MC5, so the powers that be keep them out of there. But
that's a shame because they were one of the greatest American rock and roll bands ever, and we'll never see the likes of that again. I don't think, man.
Well, I was telling Wayne
I don't know that technology will allow it. People might allow it, but I don't know that technology will allow it.
I was telling Wayne, as long as MC5 and Steppenwolf are not in there, it's an incomplete Hall of Fame. And I will also add SDP to that list.
We're pretty badass, man.
Yeah. SDP will be, in 2019, we'll celebrate 30 years. So a year from now, the band will be 30. What does that number mean to you personally and professionally?
30. Well, listen closely now, kids. Don't let anybody tell you when you're going to get your shit together, because I signed my recording contract with Atlantic Records at 30. And I'll tell you, I spent most of my later part of my 20s hearing from the adult community, when are you going to grow up? When are you going to get your eggs out of one basket? You got to, start thinking about your future and maybe put this music thing aside. I was like, well, this is what I want to do. So have faith, stay true to your course. Stay true to your course. I inked my deal at 30 years old, man. That number is really, really close to the bone for me, man.
What's the biggest joy for you these days in terms of the band still being not only relevant but also vital and also still creating?
Well, like I said, I know what I'm sitting on, musically speaking, and I know what Robert has, and there's a lot left, and look, we just love making music, man, and we love being able to share it with you. And I got to tell you, I don't want to claim ownership on this thing. This belongs to all of us.
Yeah.
This is all of ours. And I just want us all to really have it be a place where we can completely dip our minds and find every emotion in it.
Yeah.
And if we just get to do that, then that makes me feel good, man.
Well, my final question is, what is a life creating and performing, touring the world and interacting with people from all walks of life? What has that taught you about what it means to be a human being?
Well, it's a lot better to be a human being than a human doing.
Yeah.
You think of those two words, a human being. Just being. It's so easy for us to get into the human doing. I'm doing. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. I have to do that. Man, a human doing and a human being are at each end of the spectrum, man. And I haven't quite figured it out, but there are times in my day or in my week where I get to experience to be simply a human being. And man, when that lines up for me, that's pretty fulfilling.